Hey, HR friends, welcome back. We're in the 4-7 emotional 6.5 day sequence, and we made it to day three. Day three is right here in this white rectangle. And as always, we start out these forecasts by talking about the electromagnetics for this emotional sequence. Now, when we broke the mathematics of how this sentient space-time construct works, it allowed us to map out this electromagnetic sequence. You see, this is a predetermined sequence. And if you weren't aware of this, you should be. We're designed to be defensive. And what this does is it makes it very hard for us to work through our emotions in positive ways. You see, when this pattern elevates, it's going to activate our defensive design and it's going to try to convince you to ignore your problems or to stand up and fight for your opinions in ways that are hurtful to the people around you. And understanding when this pattern is going to elevate and when this pattern is going to fall is a huge advantage. When this pattern elevates, if you can stop it from manipulating your choice, what you can do is you can slow the aging process and you can stop the stress that accumulates that causes future states of disease. Now, those are the immediate benefits and why we talk about this. Now, the good news for day three is this. It's relatively low, meaning this electromagnetic pattern does not get up to that level four. We talk about a level four as kind of the tipping point. If it gets to a four, maintains at a four, and goes above a four, it really activates our defensive design, which really manipulates our choices, and it really causes a lot of stress for all the people that surround us. Okay? So the good news is this pretty low, especially in first person and in third person. Now, we just came out of some pretty strong polarity moments. Anytime on these graphs, when you see an elevation that holds and lifts and stays that way for an extended period of time, that is messing with either emotional or mental rhythms. So for the previous 2 days, that's exactly what's happened. In first person, day one, we started out with both an emotional polarity flip and a mental polarity flip. The mental polarity flip went right into the end of day two and will just barely start here in day three. Now, after that lets up, pretty easy stuff in comparison to what we've been doing here lately. Now, the combined just adds first and third together. First is the stress you have with the people around you. Third is the stress created by your bigger picture items that you invest in. Now, the combined just shows you how those two things come together. And again, pretty light here today. All right, so this electromagnetic pattern, we call it the organized pattern of chaos because that's literally what it's doing. It's organizing chaos, and because we were unaware of it, it's been manipulating us. That's how these forecasts are so accurate. When the pattern elevates, our stress elevates. When the pattern subsides, our stress subsides. So we're going to have a small period of time here where stress is going to kind of subside, and we really want you to take advantage of those moments. All right, so let's get down here and talk about what this unseen pattern of chaos is trying to stop you from doing. So in this sentient space-time reality, it is super easy to understand what the objective is. Now, the problem is our feelings have been used against us. Our defensive design has been manipulating us. And instead of understanding that we all come from the same math, we're all from the same family, and that we're all supposed to be getting along, what we've been doing here is we've been arguing and fighting, and then we've also been investing in strategies that are going to help ourselves and our families, the people we care about, more than the people around us. Now, again, this has to do with our defensive design. It's designed this way. We make the problem, so then once the problem gets big enough, we figure out this construct, and that's exactly what's happened. Now, for thousands of years, we've been competing with ourselves. And what that's done is it's created huge divisions within our national and our world awareness. Now, if we want to balance the national and the world perspectives, this is what's got to happen. We got to understand these governing frequencies collectively. And that's what we've done here for you. So every individual, we've made this as simple as possible for you. We've shown how the frequencies that make your existence possible is connected to both how we get along with our teammates and how balanced our routines are. You see, if we don't cooperate and communicate with every member of our team, whether it's from our family or somebody that lives across the world, and if we don't balance our routines on a day to day basis, meaning that we're all contributing to family, individual, and national strategies that are going to ensure that this world is fair, balanced, and equal for all of us. If you're not doing those things, then you're out of balance with these governing frequencies. It's that simple. And whatever teammates you're not getting along with, and whatever routines you're having trouble balancing to make sure that it's equal and mutually beneficial for everyone, well, those are the quadrants of your body that are going to have problems. Now, understanding this objective helps you understand why you would want to align with these governing frequencies. The second you align and get along with your teammates and start to balance your routine, you'll slow the aging process and you'll stop the progression and reverse future states of disease. Now, in the long term, if you make this commitment and you do it till your last day in this simulated experience, what you'll be able to do is you'll confidently graduate out of this negative feedback loop and get to transition into a positive feedback loop. You see, our sentient space-time reality has two contrasting ways in which we can exist, a negative one and a positive one. And currently, you're in the negative one. Now, to get out of the negative one and to get into the positive one, it's this simple. Commit to your team, balance your routines. If you don't do that, these guides will tell you exactly where you're going to suffer and what diseases are going to happen later in your life. And then what's going to happen is you're going to be born back into this negative feedback loop and do it again and again and again until you decide to change your mind and have positive, constructive relationship. This is all about teaching you how to have good, conscious, positive choice that's mutually beneficial. And here's the thing, we're designed to be unbalanced. So it's going to be hard. And our feelings are being used against us. So that's not making it any easier. But what we've done is we've shown you when your feelings are going to deceive you. And now we've clearly shown you what this is so that you can take advantage of this information and ensure that you slow aging, you stop the progression of your disease, and you get out of this negative feedback loop. That's why we do this. Now, we prove this to you by our day-to-day analysis. We're going to do a 24-hour analysis now, and that's what day 3 is all about. So in day 3, what we do is we zoom in the electromagnetics and we synchronize it to the times of the day. And we have all 24 time zones. So to find your time zone, come down here, you find your time zone offset. This will hold for 10 seconds, and then you'd screenshot it. Now, that's for people that don't have good internet. If you've got great internet, just go to our homepage. We've got a live feed. It's got a time bar that progresses through this sequence. You can open it up the moment you feel defensive or the moment you see someone else around you getting defensive, and you can reference it. And what you're going to find out is every time one of these little peaks happen, well, that's exactly what's happening. These peaks are deceiving you. They are activating your defensive design. They're getting you to argue and get upset about the things around you, and it's controlling you through your emotions and your design. That's the first step. So reference this as often as you need to, and pretty soon you're going to realize how handy this tool is as far as making sure that things get better for you and the people you care about. Now, in day 3, you can see we've got a little bit of up and down here, okay? In the start of the sequence, third person and first person fire up. And then when the second 12-hour sequence starts, you can see that happens again. First and third person fire up. Now, besides these two little humps right here, it should be pretty smooth sailing. And these really just get to 4 and above a 4, and they don't last a long time. And there's a little bit of sass here at the end. But again, this should be a relatively smooth day. All right, so the other way that we prove to you that you're in a sentient space-time reality is through these alignments. Now, these alignments are when two frequencies come together at the same time and they amplify the effect. So if you see a blue alignment, that's testing to see how well we're doing along with our teammates. If you see a purple alignment, well, that's testing to see how well you're balancing your routine. All right, so first alignment we're going to talk about is this ME. This is a blue alignment, so this is going to test how well we get along with our teammates. And this alignment specifically is testing how well we get along with the older members of our team. If it's in the upper quadrants of the body, it's the older members. If it's the lower quadrants of the body, it's the younger members. Specifically, if you're out of balance and not able to communicate positively, help alleviate the stress, and organize how you're going to do routines together to create a fair, balanced reality with the older members, well, with this one, you're going to feel it in the upper left quadrant. That's just how this works. It's biofeedback. The more unbalanced you are with your approach with the older members of our team, the more likely you're going to feel this upper left quadrant during this period of time. The next one we're going to talk about is this ME. This is a 45-minute alignment, and this is on the time side. So this is going to be checking to see how balanced your routines are. Now, if it's the lower quadrants of the body, it has to do with our individual and family routine. If it's the upper quadrants of the body, it has to do with the national and world routine. So if your individual and family routine is out of balance, meaning it helps you more than it helps the people you share this existence with, well, then problems are going to happen in the lower quadrant of your body. The more unbalanced your choices are, the more destruction and damage you're going to feel down here. Now, the other thing you need to be aware of this, during these moments in time, it's not just what happens to our body, but it can also be accidents or injuries. This is when you're going to trip and fall and hurt something in the lower quadrant, or when you're going to be in a car accident and hurt something in the lower quadrant. Now, everything in this space-time reality is interconnected. There is no such thing as an accident. It's a biofeedback system, and it's trying to teach you. If something negative happens during these times, and it's much more likely that negativity is going to happen in these amplified moments. That's why we're pointing them out. All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is this PE right here. This is, again, a space alignment, so it's coming back to test to see how well we're doing with our teammates. And this one's also testing the upper quadrants, which is the older members of the team. We already talked about that. We need to have positive, constructive relationship where we're working out stress and balancing our routines. If you're having problems doing that with the older members of the team, the more problems you're having with them, the more problems you're going to have in those two quadrants during this alignment. All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is this Emmy. This is the strongest alignment of the day. It's an hour and a half long. This one's going to test to see how well we're getting along with the younger members of our team. Same thing as always. How are we cooperating, coordinating? Are we helping them eliminate their stress and helping them understand how to balance routine? The better we're doing at that, the better we're going to be in alignment and the better our body's going to do, the more unbalanced we are, the more stress and dysfunction that's going to happen to these lower quadrants of the body. That's just how that works. All right, the last one we're going to talk about is this EE. This alignment is a time alignment, so it's again testing routines. So this has to do with if we're contributing at the national and the world level in a way that's going to make this a balanced, larger picture for everybody. Now, if you're investing in routines that help you more than everybody else, then you're going to be out of balance. Expect to feel that in your right upper quadrant during this alignment time. That's how that works. That's how simple that is. Now, these are the low-hanging fruit. These are the easiest moments in time during this period that we can show you this. Now, they're not terribly long, but if you pay attention to when you get that knot or when you feel that tension or that digestive problem or that headache, you're going to find out in a hurry that it's associated with these amplified moments. Again, this is just how we help you understand what you're in. And once you realize what you're in, it kind of limits your choices to what it is you'd want to do. All right. Now, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the testing sequence here. So this is how many frequencies are going to test our bodies in this next 24-hour period of time. And if you have more than 4 frequencies in a quadrant at any given time, that's a pretty heavy test load. Now you can see they're all right at that 4 or below that 4 number in this next 24 hours, which means the entire body's fair game. Everything's being tested, which means you're being tested on how well you're getting along with every member of your team, as well as how balanced your routines are. And the more percentage of the day that you go on that you're not doing this and you're not doing this, the faster your body's being destroyed. Now, these two charts right here break this down and show you where the strongest frequencies in this next 24 hours are parked. And there's a couple things that we want to talk about. First person is all about how we get along with teammates, and third person is how balanced our routines are. And what I like to do is to see if there's any overlap here. And you can see there's quite a bit of overlap, but in the right lower quadrant specifically, there isn't. So in this 24-hour period of time, for the entire 24 hours, if you're feeling stuff going on in your lower quadrant, say your knee is a little sore, your foot's sore, your hip is sore, and it doesn't want to go away, or your digestion's off all day long, that's a direct hint. It's telling you right there, you need to work on your routines. It's not anything to do with teammates because this isn't being tested strong. Okay. Now, does that mean that you get along with your teammates? No, but this just makes it easy to understand that if you've got right lower quadrant pain, now you know what it's connected with. The other quadrants, however, they have overlap. This is why we encourage you to really document what you feel and when you feel it, because you can use our software to discern exactly what frequencies were connected to the feelings you had. And what it does is it just gives you an advantage. It tells you where you need to focus first and get going on, because the sooner you get in alignment with these frequencies, the faster you can heal and prevent aging from going as fast as it is. Now, in truth, don't overcomplicate this. Literally, just understand, overcome your defensive design, be pleasant, kind, and cooperative with every teammate, and understand you're going to have to change your routine. Every single person is going to have to make drastic changes in their routine, or nothing's going to change at this larger level. And you can see that this is kind of spiraling out of control right now. Social tensions and weather events continue to amplify. The only way that's going to subside is when we decide to do the work. All right, we're going to end this thing out. We've got the entire electromagnetics for the rest of 2024 already posted. No more excuses. When this pattern elevates, social tension and weather events elevate. When this pattern subsides, they subside. Now, we're showing you this because we're empowering you to first eliminate the stress that affects you. Now, the more individuals we get committed to watching this pattern and overcoming this simple pattern, the faster we're going to make things better at the larger level. And please understand how difficult this is. As simple as it is to understand this pattern is using our feelings to trick us into doing things that are counterproductive. The second you are able to manually override your defensive mechanisms, everything is about to get better for you and the people you care about. All right, that's enough for today. We'll see you in the next 24 hours.